Today, first of all, introduce. I'm Vinay Jha. I'm Director Swachh Bharat Mission in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. I hope the voice is clear to you. Can anyone confirm, Rahul?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir. Clear.
Okay. So today, this meeting is very important, and this is regarding opening of the window for GFC and ODF certification. These certifications are very important for your Swachh Sarvekshan scorecard as well. So today we will be covering what are the main aspect of GFC new protocol and ODF. There is slight changes in the protocol, and apart from this, there are some requirements. Some requirement regarding your data points, how accurate is your data point. So I will request especially all the commissioners to kindly devote 1 hour time. What exactly the data you are feeding on the Swachhatam portal, that is being verified on the field. So if there is a deviation on what is being reported and what is actual, so there is a negative marking as it happens. So the accuracy of the data is very important. Moreover, this time we have written that if you have a facility for waste processing, then only you apply for GFC. If you are just dumping your waste, please don't apply. Don't go for GFC certification. First create your facility and then go for GFC certification. So this time we will be very strict, and moreover you have to upload all the photographs of the status of your plant on the portal. Then only we will take up, and you will be eligible for GFC certification as well as ODF certification. So I will request my team member Rahul Singh and Pooja. Rahul will cover the GFC protocol, and then Pooja will take up the ODF. For IT session, for IT portal, we will take up a separate session with you all. First of all, you understand what is new in GFC, what is new in ODF, and then we will take you to the IT portal. But be mindful of your data must be very accurate while you upload. It should not be left over any of the data entry operator. That is the reason why some of the urban local body do not do fair in these certifications. So with this, Rahul, you can start the presentation, and any question answer, we will first take up the presentation. Actually, right now everyone has been kept on mute because there so many cross talking happens. You please note down your queries, and we will take up after Rahul's presentation. We will take up the question answer regarding the GFC, and after ODF we will take up the ODF question answer. Chalo, Rahul.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to everyone. So as sir has guided, we will start the GFC Toolkit overview presentation. So Toolkit is available on the portal, and it is the updated Toolkit on which the GFC assessment will happen this time. And what I will do, I will run through this presentation and explain what are the major changes in the toolkit. So an overview of the process of GFC assessment. It is same as last couple of years the assessment is happening. And so first of all the ULBs have to update their city profile data and their monthly progress data. That is a continuous activity which all the cities are doing on the Swachhatam portal. And basis that, once the GFC window opens, they have to apply on the portal, and the first step is the self-assessment scorecard. So which is generated based on the monthly progress data and the city profile data, which is these. So this time we are taking data of 6 months, January to June 2024. The data will be taken, and based on that, the self-assessment scorecard of the cities will be calculated, and the eligibility of applying to a particular star will be determined. After that, cities have to upload their documentation and declarations and submit on the portal. Their application process completes, but then it goes through a process of desktop assessment. And if the city clears the desktop assessment, then the field assessment happens, and it happens into two parts. One is the citizen validation, and another is the independent observation by the third party assessors. And if the city clears these three stages, city is awarded the star rating based on the level they have qualified. And so this is the entire process. But as a precondition, there is a precondition for applying for GFC also, that for 1 star, the city must be ODF. For 3 star, it should be ODF plus. The ODF plus plus for 5 star, and Water plus is required for 7 star. So this is the matrix which is applicable for this year's GFC assessment, and this remains sacrosanct. That means a city which is having less than 60% source aggregation, less than 90% door-to-door collection, will not be eligible for 3 star. So 70% processing. So this is the minimum threshold which has been kept for this year's assessment. So final rating of the city will be determined below these thresholds. The city will not be certified for that level. So that is an additional thing which has been included in this year's GFC. Just excuse me for a minute. So moving ahead. So in terms of the process, it remains the same. Hello.
Can somebody please confirm if you're audible, Manish?
Rahul is not audible right now.
Yeah, Manish, am I audible now?
Yeah, now audible. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So the process remains same. First step is the self-assessment, and then the desktop assessment and the field assessment. So what changes have been done is that in the self-assessment, the number of indicators on which the logic is run and the scorecard is generated has been reduced from 16 to 7, and the aspirational indicators have been reduced from 8 to 3. So it has been simplified. There were a lot of issues which cities used to face in terms of the scorecard not generating, they are not able to clear, or they are not eligible for any star rating and all that. So for minimizing those things, from 24 parameters, it has been reduced to around 10 in parameters now. And similarly for the desktop assessment, so parameters are reduced from 16 to 9 for important component, and the documentation, which was very large in the earlier assessment, has been reduced from 49 to around 12 documents. And you can see on the portal that all these templates are also available. Bare minimum documentation has been required for GFC application, and cities can upload these 10, 12 documents and apply for the certification. And in the field assessment, certain indicators have been am I audible now?
Yes, audible, Rahul.
It's audible?
Yes, audible, Rahul.
Thank you. So this is the detailed snapshot of all the indicators. What we have done, we have classified the indicators into 4 categories: visible cleanliness, waste processing, um, then no dumping, citizen connect, and sustainability and other indicators. So this is a classification which we have done, which has bearing because we have clubbed all the indicators which are related to visible cleanliness in one part, processing in one part, and that way. Level-wise marks, there are certain changes, but not major. But more importantly, in which level this indicator will be considered, that is mentioned. So, for example, door-to-door collection will be evaluated in self-assessment, desktop assessment, as well as in field assessment. So that is mentioned. So if you see line item number 4, C&D waste collection and segregation, this will be only assessed in the field assessment part. And similarly, the visible cleanliness will be in DA and FA. It is not part of SA. So in order to simplify the overall assessment, these reductions, and earlier it was all the indicators were SA, DA, and FA. All these self-assessment, desktop assessment, and field assessment, these indicators were assessed, but this has been simplified a bit, right? And also, as there is certain changes in the independent observation and citizen feedback parameters or evaluation of the indicators. So, for example, the door-to-door collection, 90% will be on citizen validation. When the assessor will go house to house, they will assess that whether the door-to-door collection is happening or not. And 10% only weightage is given on the assessor's independent observation, the photographs he is taking of the vehicles and all that. Similarly, for source segregation, it is 100% citizen validation. Visible cleanliness, it is 50% and 50%. So that way, we have given the weightage to IO and CV for all the components. So this is in continuation to that only. And the marking scheme. So we have given just a snapshot at the beginning of the toolkit that how the entire indicators are available, and the cities will be evaluated on these indicators. So this is for the aspirational indicators, again classified between visible cleanliness, waste processing, and sustainability and other parameters. This is the scoring methodology. So for 1-star level, you have to score around 2,500 marks, and for achieving at 5-star, you have to achieve close to 6,300 marks. So this is the corresponding score of the star rating with the survection score. So 1-star will achieve 5,500 marks, 5,500 marks in the survection. And similarly, 7-star will achieve 1,375 marks. So this is available in the SS Toolkit also. Coming to the first step of the self-assessment scorecard generation. So this is the matrix. As I mentioned, there are only 7 components on which the self-assessment scorecard for important indicators, that is for level 1 and level 3 stars, will be evaluated. And it is basically source segregation, door-to-door collection, wet and dry waste processing, dump site remediation, bulk waste generated, the entire waste management by bulk waste generators, and geo mapping of facilities. So the percentages have been changed a bit from the last time, but the entire scorecard will be generated only on these 7 parameters for 1 and 3 star applicants, and monthly progress data of 6 months will be considered. For the aspirational parameters, for 5 and 7 star cities which they want to apply for 5 and 7 star. So these are the 3 parameters on which the self-assessment scorecard will be generated: geo mapping of ward boundaries, drains, nalas, and water bodies, which was earlier also there in the toolkit. So same indicator is there. Then sale of self-utilization of waste byproduct or end of life disposal for all the 3 categories of waste. So this indicator was also earlier there. The self-assessment scorecard for 5 and 7 star will be generated on this. And the last indicator is the processing of sanitary waste and domestic hazardous waste. And the one condition which remains is that the city has to be eligible for 1 star criteria for applying for GFC. If the city is not eligible for even 1 star, they cannot apply for GFC in the current cycle. Similarly, for desktop assessment, these are the documents which cities have to upload. So these documents are reduced to a great extent, but still there are some essential documents which the cities have to upload. So, for example, door-to-door collection. So city has to upload the details of ward-wise collection transportation vehicles, elaborating the details of vehicle type, capacity, and compartments. Detail of ward-wise manpower deployed. We have created a template for this also, and it is available on the Swachhtam portal in the GFC module. So cities can refer to that if all these columns which are there, data points which are required is already cities are maintaining that, they can upload but the same format. But if it is not, then they have to prepare the format. But there is a change in this that only one upload is required. Earlier, the process was little complex, wherein for every ward you have to upload these details. And the city is having 15 wards, 20 wards, or 80 wards. So every ward, the city, whoever is preparing the application has to go and upload ward-wise door-to-door collection vehicle details. So now that has been relaxed. Cities have to upload only at one place. They can make this word-wise in one Excel sheet or one Word document and get sign and stamp it and upload it. So this repetitive process of uploading word-wise document is removed. Similarly, for source segregation, no documentation is required. It will be primarily assessed at the field by the assessor, and 100% weightage is on the validation by citizens. But for a documentation purpose, only an undertaking is required from the urban local body, and the format is already given in the portal. Third point is visible cleanliness. Here, ward-wise details are required on area type, type of sweeping done, number of sweepers which are there, frequency of sweeping, and area-wise bin deployed, frequency of cleaning, ward-wise secondary collection points and runoffs, and etc. So this format is also there on the portal. If you are maintaining this data in some other format, we would recommend that you use the format on the portal because it will be easier for the assessor to do the desktop assessment. Now coming to the fourth parameter for which the desktop assessment will be done is wet waste and dry waste processing. So here in the new GFC module, there is no document which has to be uploaded. Cities have to only upload the photos and videos of the plant, functional videos of the plant, operating plant. So this change has been done. All the documentation will be verified on the field, and the logbooks and everything. So cities have to maintain that at the plant side, but for the qualification for the city to qualify in the desktop assessment, they have to upload it in the Swachhtam portal under the MIS module in the plant details category. They have to go and upload. There is a letter already issued for this. So this is a prerequisite for applying for GFC. If cities have not done this, they are requested to upload this plant videos and photos for dry waste and wet waste. Without that, they will not be able to apply for GFC. Even if they apply with some random photos, there will be queries by the desktop assessors, because unless the assessor is clear that the plant is operational, they will not qualify the city in the desktop assessment. And that can be only assessed based on the photos and videos the ULBs are uploading on the portal. Right. So moving ahead, for plastic waste management, there is no documentation, only notification will be checked from the Swachhtam portal. Plastic ban notification, grievance redressal. Also, the data will be taken from Swachhta app or the city app data, which is integrated with the Swachhta app. So no document is required. User charges also, only the notification will be checked from Swachhtam portal. Scientific landfill, there is only an undertaking required that it exists in the city, or if not, then it is in the process of setting up. Land is identified on that. Moving ahead for the aspirational parameters, again, for first parameter is for desktop assessment is C&D waste processing and recycling. Here also, as the case of earlier processing plants, cities have to upload photos and videos, right? And basis that only this thing will be evaluated. Last point is digital monitoring. For this, an undertaking has to be given as per the format provided. So these are the 10 indicators on which the desktop assessment will happen. Moving ahead, these are certain more changes in the toolkit to make it simple. So this point number 1 and 2, 1 was removed earlier also. So point number 1 was removed from with an alert. It was not assessed in the last assessment also, but other declarations also. Basis the inputs we have received from a lot of cities that it is very difficult to take these declarations and documentations and follow the entire process. And also the feedback from the assessment agencies that many places they are not finding these documentation. Cities are not, many cities are doing it. Some proactive cities were doing all the documentation, but many cities were also not doing it in the way it should be done. So this has been relaxed, all these declarations and the documentation which is required for application of GFC. Another change is that it is already applicable in the last cycle also, that there is no reassessment after cooling off of 1 month 1 month after 1 month has passed. Basically, if a city fails in the desktop assessment or field assessment, then they have to go for the next cycle only for applying or getting a star rating. Right. All these point number 8, 9, 10, and 11 remains as per the toolkit, earlier toolkit. So if a city fails in third-party assessment, and so for if they have applied for 5-star and they are not eligible for 5-star, then and everything is qualifying for 3-star, they will be provided 3-star certificate. Right. So the validity of the certification. So if your ULB is going ahead for a higher certification and somehow they could not qualify in this cycle, so their previous star rating remains till its validity. So that was earlier also there and it is retained. And cities have to pass at least level 1 in all indicators to apply for GFC certification and get a 1 star at least. And one of the important component of GFC is that even if a city is failing in one ward, so level 1 condition is not met, then they are not eligible to for a star rating. So it has to be 100% compliance of all the indicators as it was done in the earlier assessments also. So these are the earlier sample size which were considered. So this has been changed a bit based on the feedback from states and cities and also the assessment agency. So earlier, as a thumb rule, the number of households which were taken for citizen validation were minimum 50 per ward, okay, or 0.5% of the household, whichever is higher. Now, because it was a very cumbersome exercise in many places, if there was not 50 houses also per ward. So it was becoming a little difficult for the assessment agency to complete this exercise. So in view of this, there is an entire exercise of finding the ideal sample size with a confidence interval of around 5%, and considering a required margin, the exercise has been done, and now the average sample size per ward is around 39, which includes your 28 residential citizen validation, commercial, 5 public feedback, and 1 institutional feedback if it is there. And the success criteria remains as it is. So 90% of the claims have to be validated. So if um, uh, 10 citizen validations are done for door-to-door collection or source segregation, 9 houses have to report yes to qualify. So that remains. So this is steps for star rating, which remains as earlier. So this process is followed by MAHUA and the third party agency for giving the final certificate to UOB. Now, basically, this is already explained that there is assessment of service level status and independent validation by the assessors. And for desktop assessment, the third party agency will only evaluate a city based on the level 1 requirement. There is no determination of a star applicable at the desktop assessment level. The star rating will only be assessed in the field assessment and not and whatever is determined in the field assessment, that will be the final rating of the city. So even if a city is applying for 7-star, but if it is on the field assessment, it is found that the city is eligible for 3-star or 1-star or 5-star, then accordingly the star rating will be given. So the thumb rule is that the star rating will be determined on the basis of field assessment and not any of the other self-assessment or desktop assessment. So these are the locations where the independent observations will be done. So this remains as the last time for residential area, around 5 locations the assessor will assess. Roads and street will be sampled and assessed. Market areas around 5 in the city has to be done. Parks and garden minimum 3 or actual number of parks and gardens in the city. So similarly, this remains as it is. There is no change from the earlier toolkit in this independent observation locations by the third party. Now the indicators are there. I would request all the ULBs to go through this. This is available on the portal, but I will just quickly take you through the changes. So first indicator was earlier also door-to-door collection. Now also it remains. But the major change is that we have categorized into residential, commercial, and institutional public areas. So this doesn't change much, but if you see in the next indicators, there will be some implication of this. But for door-to-door collection, for all the areas, minimum greater than 80% from level 1, and from level 2 onwards, it is now 90% and above. There is no further bifurcation. And if cities doing 90% above door-to-door collection, they can they will get 425 marks. And the weightage is 10% on independent observation and 90% on 90% on citizen validity. Now coming to source segregation, again it is divided into like 3 components: residential area, commercial area, and public constitutional area. The idea is that segregation is different in different places. So for commercial area, we have categorized for level 3 and level 4 also for dry and wet only. But domestic area or residential area has been there are 4 categories of waste which in 4 bins the segregation has to be done. So that is why we have classified the area types in the indicator itself. Now the third indicator, there is a slight change. Earlier it was litter bins and sweeping and all. Now it has been renamed as visible cleanliness, and it also for residential area we have simplified it that 100% daily sweeping and roads found clean for level 1, and if we go for level 3, then the sweeping has to be done, roads and back lanes to be clean, GVP not to be there, no red spot and all that. Right. So we for residential area, this is how the assessment will happen. Mostly, it will be independent assessment and observation and citizen validation. So the means of verification is basically the evidence which is captured from the field. There is no other primary means of verifying this, because sweeping and all also there were contradictory this thing data points which were coming. Some places citizens were able to answer this, some places they were not able to answer this. Then for the commercial area, we have also added certain more indicators for visible cleanliness, which includes your secondary storage bin. If they are there, then it should be spill free and all. For level 3, we have included the litter bins also. GVP should not be there. Drainage should not be choked. No red spot. And if there is a secondary storage point, then it has to be well maintained and litter free. And for level 4, there are certain more criteria with respect to mechanized sweeping in cities with more than 5 lakh population. So all these criteria have been added. For public and institutional area, accordingly, the relevant points only will be assessed. These are certain definitions which are there, and cities can refer to these. Bulk waste generator, the component 4, it largely remains as last time, and there is no major change in this. Bulk waste generators have to process their wet waste by themselves, and if a city is not having any bulk waste generator, then they will get full marks on this indicator, or a prorated marks on this indicator, and but cities have to are requested to update all the BWGs on the portal. If they are not doing this just to skip this marks, there is a possibility that they might fetch negative marks if the assessor is able to find a hotel or premise which they feel that would be generating more than 100 kgs of waste per day. So that is why cities are encouraged to upload the details of all the BWGs in the city on the Swachhtam portal. Now coming to wet waste processing, as shown earlier, that the percentages have been changed a bit, and for 1 star, a city has to do more than 50% processing. For 2 star, 3 star, level 2, 70%, level 3, 80%, level 4, 90% processing cities have to do. And there are certain more indicators with respect to the geotagging of the plant, and the plant premises and all have to be maintained. So those have been added, but the primary thing is remains on the percentage of the processing of wet waste. Similarly for dry waste. So processing percentage remains the same, and uh, this is how the cities will be assessed on the processing parameters. Dump site remediation, the indicators remain largely as last time. So level 1 condition is basically because we are in the 3rd year of Swachh Bharat, and so earlier it was approval of plans, but now the level 1 condition has been changed to issuance of work order for dump site remediation, and basically from depending on the quantum of the waste, from 25% remediation to 40% remediation to achieve level 2, and 40% to 70% remediation completed for achieving level 3, and for level 4 the remediation of 90% above has to be achieved by the city. So these are certain more conditions which are there for dump site remediation parameter. Plastic ban. So plastic waste management is a bit of a new indicator which has been added in GFC this time. So here, what we have changed from earlier is that earlier it was only focused on plastic ban. Now it is more towards plastic waste management. So and the ban part is primarily checked, will be checked in the DA stage only. So basically for level 1, cities have to segregate plastic through an MRF. Then it's for level 2, segregation of plastic through MRF and no visible ban item to be in market and other places. And then for level 3, they have to also show that proof of utilization, sale, and disposal of at least 50% of the segregated plastic waste which is collected. And for level 4, cities must be registered on the EPR portal for getting the EPR credit. So that's how it is designed, and this will be the basis of assessment for the current GFC cycle. User charges again has been simplified. So basically it will be on citizen validation only that the percentages will be calculated. For level 1, it is that only the bylaws have been notified, and that will be checked. For level 2 onwards, weightage will be given on the citizen validation. Citizens will be asked whether they pay any user charge for the door-to-door collection and the other services which the municipal corporation is providing. So if 20% of the responses are positive, they will get level 2. If 40% are positive, they will get level 3, and beyond 60%, they will get level 4. So these are some definitions related to user charges. You can refer to these. Grievance redressal remains as last time, but this will not be assessed in the field assessment this time because it is mostly data which is checked. So this data will be taken from backend and given to the third-party agency, and they will evaluate the level of the city, which the level the city can achieve for grievance redressal. Scientific landfill, it is also on the same lines as earlier. There is no major change. For achieving level 1, land has to be identified if the landfill is not fully operational, and EC has to be done. So this is an additional thing which has been added this time. And cities are encouraged because we are in the third year of Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0. Now, by this time, at least we should move ahead from land identified for landfill to at least some work happening there. And if this landfill is not operational, cities have to ensure that not more than 45% of process rejects are dumped or so basically cities have to have good processing facilities in the city so that they are eligible for this indicator. And for level 2, accordingly, it is changed. Level 2 onwards, cities have to have a scientific landfill in place. Now, coming to the C&D waste collection and segregation part, here we have clubbed the collection and segregation. Earlier, there were 2 indicators. Now, it has been merged into one. And importantly, this indicator is applicable only for cities with more than 5 lakh population, and cap cities and cities with more than 5 lakh population. Right. So, indicators is simplified, and there were a lot of queries and issues were reported by cities for this indicator. Now we have tried to incorporate all that and have simplified this indicator. So for level 1, we have we will only check that land is earmarked for collection facility or a facility of collection of C&D waste is there via a mobile collection unit or something. So for level 1, it is mostly the collection part only is important, right? Level 2 onwards, there should be a mechanism in the city for collection, and then the collected C&D waste has manually been segregated and kept properly, so that will be assessed, right? Level 3 onwards, there has to be mechanized way of processing the C&D waste, and 20% of the material has to be used from the C&D waste. So this is how the C&D waste collection and segregation indicator has been updated. Waste to wealth. So this was earlier, the name was different. Now component 13, we are focusing on waste to wealth, wherein the focus will be on 3R initiatives, which are there with respect to setting up of RRR centers, food bank, cloth bank, and other upcycling facilities which are there in the city. Waste bank, waste artifact or parks to create awareness about waste management. So and the campaigns which the cities are participating in, the IEC campaigns, so that will be evaluated, but mostly from the data only. So these will not be evaluated on the field. And the levels are there, and if two initiatives are considered and one in level 2 and one in level 3, then the city is eligible for 1 star or level 1. Yeah, sorry. So this is the waste to wealth indicator. Then the no visible solid waste in water bodies, screens, stormwater drains and nalas. So this also remains as last time only. There is no major change in this indicator. URBs cities and states are requested to go through this indicator and let us know if there is any query or something. Then we have the geo mapping of facilities, processing facilities, scientific landfill. This also remains as last time only, but the only thing is that this will be only assessed in the self-assessment this time, not in the field assessment or desktop assessment. Now coming to aspiration parameters. First one is ward boundaries and drains and nalas. So these also have to be uploaded on the portal, and city beautification again remains as it is from the last time, and there is no major change in this. After this, there was an indicator for processing of wet waste on-premise processing of wet waste, home composting and all. So that has been relaxed, so it will not be assessed in GFC. Now this is the indicator for sale of byproduct. The percentages of for level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4 for all the 3 categories of waste have been updated. So cities are requested to kindly look into this. Now this is a C&D waste processing and recycling parameter. So this is about C&D processing and recycling. So city has to recycle around 25% of the C&D waste in non-bulk generators for achieving level 1 and more than 90% for level 4. So this primarily remains as it is from the last time, but the only thing is that now this C&D waste management will be only applicable for cities more than 5 lakh population, not below that. Domestic hazardous and sanitary waste processing also is an aspirational parameter, and here cities have to do 25% processing for level 1 and 90% processing for level 2. Digital monitoring of operations, this parameter remains, but it will be only considered during DA, and cities have to just upload a undertaking for the same. So thank you, sir. This is about the GFC toolkit. Now I would request Pooja for the ODF briefing of ODF toolkit, and after that we can have the question and answer session.
Hi, thank you, Rahul. So I would be taking you very quickly through the GFC, through the ODF certifications and what are the kind of changes that we are bringing about this time. Could somebody please confirm if I'm audible?
Who's audible? You are audible.
Yeah. Thanks, Manish. Okay. So I'm just sharing my screen. Please give me a minute. I hope it is visible. I hope my screen is visible.
Yeah, visible, Pooja. Your screen is visible. You are audible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So as you all know that we have been doing certifications to ensure the sanitation levels and use water management levels in states and cities. So just to give a quick recap as to what are we trying to assess in SBM 2.0, we know that in the first phase, we had ensured that all states and ULBs and cities become open defecation free, and how we ensured that everybody had access to a sanitation system. So when it comes to SBM 2.0, our main focus here is to ensure that all the sanitation facilities which have been built, there is a focus on the functionality and accessibility part. More emphasis has been given even from the last toolkit. We have given more emphasis on the various O&M models that the states and ULBs can use to ensure that there is sustainability of services. Another step here that we want to keep on emphasizing with cities, it is not just enough to have an infrastructure in place, it should be accessible to all. And also the structure which is built should be a safe containment. There should be no open discharge of fecal matter. One more aspect, as you all know, is that we look at aspirational toilets in SBM 2.0, basically to have a toilet which has a more enhanced experience when it comes to a user. And then these toilets were to be built in high footfall areas. We've in the past, and we keep on seeing toilet innovations as to how cities have gone one level ahead or even 10 levels ahead when it comes to bringing about new and unique models of toilets on ground. If Another is that in order to ensure that the facility which is there in place, there is a monitoring system in place. So last year, if you recall, we did the Clean Toilets Challenge, where we, according to the FACES parameters, we had got your SHGs to go on ground and inspect the toilets on ground. We also had the toilet design challenge, to ensure that there is a sense of awareness, a sense of responsibility among citizens, so they can also see what kind of toilets are there on ground. Another new component, as you all aware, is the use water management component that has been added in SBM 2.0. So what we try to look here is that this is for cities with less than 1 lakh population under SBMU, and with more than 1 lakh, it is taken up under Amrut. One of the key objectives of the mission is to ensure that all our cities achieve ODF++, and 50% of our cities with less than 1 lakh population be Water Plus. Another important component is to ensure that all the workers, sanitation workers, our Safai Mitras, they are taken care of. There is adequate mechanization in place for cleaning of your septic tanks and sewers. They are given personal protective gear when they are doing their operations. There should be a helpline number in place. So with this is you can see a snapshot of what is it that we foresee for cities when it comes to sanitation and use water management in the years to come. So very quickly, we have 4 certifications, as you know. There is the ODF certification, which is access to all toilets, ODF Plus, which is functionality of your CTPT, and ODF Plus Plus, which is fecal sludge management, and treatment and reuse of used water is what constitutes Water Plus. So you can see where we stand today when it comes to these certifications. This is a very quick snapshot for all the cities to see that where they stand when it comes to certifications, what is the level of their cities, how many cities have achieved ODF, how many have achieved ODF plus, 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 and water plus. So it is very heartening to see that all our cities are ODF declared, and a lot of cities have achieved ODF plus as well, ODF plus plus. So what we would want cities to see, like in case if you see that all your cities are moving towards ODF plus plus, kindly see on ground what are the kind of facilities which need to be in place so that your cities can easily move up to water plus. So these numbers are available. This is just a snapshot for all the states to ensure, you know, that you cover all the blocks. Like if you're, let's say if you have 124 ULBs which are present in Andhra, we would want to see that all your ULBs, 124 ULBs, should be achieving ODF plus plus as well. Moving on, so the changes that we have brought about in the protocols are, this is a summary of the changes that we have brought about. The new revised toolkit is available on the Swachhtam portal. Kindly, the link is also given here. You can find it on the Swachhtam portal. Kindly do go through this, do go through the protocols very carefully to understand the kind of revisions that we have made. So the first revision that we have made is in terms of assessment of parameters of CTPTs and urinals. Then if you know that under ODF certifications, we did not assess the IHHLs which were there on ground, but this year onwards, we would be assessing those as well, to ensure that all our cities are able, even the smaller cities are able to achieve ODF plus plus and water plus. We have given certain parameter modifications for these cities as well. In terms of documentation, as Rahul was also mentioning, we want to ensure that the burden of documentation comes down. So we have reduced the amount of documents that we seek from ULBs during the application process. We've also given a quick snapshot of what constitutes when it comes to ODF plus plus. If the ULBs, smaller ULBs want to go for DRE or cluster treatment plants, how is it that we have introduced a checklist so that they can also understand what can be considered as a a proper DRE system and a proper cluster treatment plant. We have also introduced a checklist for on-field verification of treatment facilities for assessors so that they also understand what is what is a correct system in place and not. Then also a very important point here is that to ensure that we conduct evaluation of all the toilets which are found on ground, and we one point to be emphasized is that as I think Rahul also mentioned, or even Dinesh sir also mentioned, that all your details regarding your CTPTs, your treatment plans should be correctly mapped onto the portal, because this is the data that would be taken by the assessment agency when they go on ground and they check these facilities. So all of them should be updated properly. Moving on. Just apologies, just give me a second. Is it visible?
It's visible, Pooja.
Yes, so I'll move on to what kind of changes have we brought about in the certification process. So the first process change is the process changes which are there. So if you know that earlier, in terms of a failed assessment, we were conducting reassessments after a cooling off period of 1 month, and if the ULB failed for the second time, the reassessment would be conducted after 6 months. So this is something that we had introduced last year also, but we have kind of put it into the protocol as well. So in reassessments under Swachh certifications are discontinued, and any ULB which fails to qualify will have to apply afresh in the application cycle. And so in case, I'll just explain it very simply. So if, for example, if a ULB fails, let's say it failed last time in the 2023 application stage, it will have to reapply fresh for the application. There will be no reassessment that will be that will be conducted. But in case of a ULB wants to go for a higher certification, it can very well do that as well. Moving on to the next. As I mentioned that we would be conducting assessment of IHHLs this time. And if you have gone through the protocol, we have given certain parameters as to what is it that the assessor is going to check on ground. So when it comes to IHHLs, the assessors will see that what kind of outlet system the toilet is connected to. Is it connected to a sewer system? Is it connected to a septic tank with soak pit? A septic tank without soak pit connected to an open drain? Or a septic tank without soak pit connected to a closed drain? Or is it a twin pit system or a single pit system? So the mechanism by which it would be done would be that each ward we would be taking 5 samples at different places so that we can adequately randomize it. The surveys would, as usual, be conducted as it is conducted right now by through face-to-face interviews by the assessors on ground. The reason that we are doing this is that we are trying to capture, as you are, I think it was mentioned during the sanitation webinar that we had done some time back, where we are trying to assess the JMP parameters for wash. So under the JMP parameters, this is for people who do not know that that UNICEF and WHO conduct the joint monitoring program for water supply and sanitation, and they report the kind of what kind of progress countries have made when it comes to drinking water, sanitation, hygiene. So using to so according to JMP, what is considered as safe sanitation is what they are trying to look at. So we are also trying to create a database and also get it verified on ground that what kind of sanitation systems are present on ground currently, and if they can be seen as safe sanitation systems. So these JMP parameters will also be captured on the Swachhtam portal. Fields are already there. So we would, as Sir said, that we would also be taking you through where all is it that you would have to fill this data, because this data will also be used by the assessment agency when they conduct the inspections of IHHLs on ground and for use water management as well. Coming to the revisions in the protocols, the first revision is, this is not a revision, this is something that we have been doing earlier as well. So there was no clause in the protocol per se to say that any ULB which is coming from a Gram Panchayat, if it is getting converted into a ULB, they will be given a declared certificate, but they should have a declared certificate from the from Grameen side, and they would be given an exemption of 1 year. They will be considered as ODF declared, but subsequently they will have to apply for a fresh certificate. So ULBs which are coming from Gram Panchayats, they will be considered as ODF for a year, and it'll only be for a year. So after that, they are free to apply for a higher certification, or let's say if they can even do a recertification, they can even apply for an ODF certificate as well. So these are, I will not go through, please give me a second. Apologies for that. Apologies for that. I'll just share my screen again. Yeah, it's visible, I hope. So
Yes.
yeah, so if you see the ODF conditions which are there, this is just these are all the conditions that the ULB will have to achieve. Basically, that all households will have to ensure that they have a place to construct a toilet and they have completed their targets completely. And in case if a household doesn't have a space to construct, so they will have to do it. They will have to be connected to the nearest CT as well. So I will not go into the details of this. You all are quite aware of what constitutes ODF. ODF is basically to seeing that there is no open defecation which happens at any given point of the day, and all the households are connected to a sanitation system. And in case there is anybody who is found on ground, let's say open, if there is a case of open defecation, there should be a clause in place and a fine mechanism in place to ensure such practices do not happen. Then coming to the ODF plus protocol. So ODF plus protocol, as you know, that it is to ensure that the ULB is able to meet the ODF condition, that is, there is no open defecation and there is no open urination. All your CTPTs are functional and usable at all times, and they are able to meet the parameters mentioned in the protocol. So what are the changes that we have done? Um, One is that ULBs were earlier allowed to delete and modify their CTPTs mapped onto the portal. And we also saw that field inspections, we could also see that these deleted toilets were still present on the deleted CTPTs were present on ground, and they failed to meet the current parameters. So as I said right at the beginning, that you should be able to all CTPTs which are mapped onto the Swachhtam portal will be inspected by the third party agency. So in case if a deleted toilet, let's say you have given a deletion request, it is found on ground, the same will be inspected by the third party agency. So you should, but the exemption will be given if there is a CTPT which has been abandoned, and if there is a new CTPT in the vicinity, then that will be exempted. But in case if a CTPT is found locked on ground and not in use, but let's say you have given a request to the ministry for its reconstruction, the same will not be inspected by the third party agency. So this is basically to ensure that all your database on CTPT should be updated onto the Swachhtam portal. Kindly ensure you do this at the earliest. Then there was no clause per se in the protocol to ensure that all CTPTs are mapped onto the portal. So now we are saying that ULBs to ensure that mapping of all CTPTs on the portal is ensured. And we will only be inspecting the CTPTs which fall under the jurisdiction of the ULB. Okay. Coming to these assessment, to the scoring matrix, if you recall for ODF plus, earlier we had 19 mandatory parameters and 15 desirable parameters. So this time we have modified it and we have made it 10 mandatory parameters and 10 desirable parameters. So we have put it in line with our phases parameters. So if you can see in the box below, in the box below, so we will be assessing the toilets on their functionality, their accessibility, their cleanliness, their eco-friendliness, and the safety of the sanitation system. So we have clubbed the parameters also accordingly. So the parameters are very simple. First is functional. They should have available water. There should be adequate ventilation. Accessibility, all doors should be in a good condition with functional bolting arrangement. All the CTPTs should be clean and functional at all times. Litter bins should be available. Wash basin should be clean and usable. Eco-friendliness of the toilet, there should be no open discharge. Safety, as in there should be a complaint registration mechanism in place. The premise should be well lit and a caretaker should be available. So these are the 10 mandatory parameters when it comes to CTPTs. Moving on to the desirable parameters. So once again, 10 desirable parameters have been kept, and this also has been clubbed as per the functionality, accessibility, cleanliness, eco-friendliness, and safety of the toilet. So if you see, some of the features are like soap should be available, sanitary pads, an O&M mechanism, dedicated toilet seats for differently able, transgendered children. Then clean staff is provided with necessary supplies of consumables, roster being maintained for regular cleaning and maintenance, eco-friendly, water-efficient toilets, safety of the toilet. So if a ULB needs to qualify, it needs to get a qualifying marks in the mandatory parameters, and any in these desirable 30 marks it should be able to come up with. These are very, very simple parameters. These are like basics in a toilet. So it is even more easy for the ULBs to ensure that their CTPTs meet these conditions. Then, but I will not go into the details of what constitutes ODF conditions. Basically, all your toilets should be functional and usable. You should be accounting the floating population as well. There should be mobile toilets which are present when in case there is a large gathering. The structural audit should have been taken. Then in case if any open defecators are found, fines should be ensured. All I'm repeating is once again, all your CTPT should be mapped onto the Swachhtam portal. There should be a monitoring mechanism by which you can capture the user feedback. And in case any city fails for a certification, it will have to once again apply for a fresh certification. Coming to the ODF plus plus protocol, ODF plus plus protocol basically constitutes that the ULB is able to meet the ODF condition, the ODF plus condition in terms of toilets, and ODF plus plus is safe containment and management of your fecal sludge. So for this, there isn't much of a change that we have done. We have just changed the dates when it comes to safe containment, conveyance and discharge of sewage from CTPT and IHHL. We are once again reiterating that in case a DPR is available for the treatment plant, मान लीजिए if you want to have a treatment plant and you've got the SLTC approval, we will consider that. But the DPR approval under implementation is only valid for the period of 1st January 2024 till 31st Jan 2024. Secondly, once again, coming to adequate treatment, we are saying that in case in case, let's say, a DPR is in place for the treatment facility to come in place, and it should that is also feasible, and we can say that an option by SLTC, if it has been approved, it is only valid for the time period which is mentioned. So there isn't much of a change, you can say, in terms of the ODF plus plus protocol. One, as I said, that we would want all our ULBs, even the smaller ULBs, to achieve ODF plus plus. So if you see, these are the basic parameters that we assess in ODF plus plus. One is the safe discharge of your sewage, including septage from your CTPT and IHHL. There should be adequate treatment capacity of your sewage septage. Desludging should be carried out on an on-demand basis. Mechanized cleaning should be in place for your sewers and septic tanks. All your desludging operators should be registered and licensed with a ULB. There should be sufficiency when it comes to desludging vehicles and workforce. In case there is any open discharge which is found, there should be fines notified for the same, a sustainable financing mechanism, and a helpline number 14420, and any other feedback mechanisms that the city has, and a functional SRU and RSA. So what is it that it changes for smaller ULBs? So for smaller ULBs, point 4, that is complete mechanized cleaning and sustainable financing mechanism will not be applicable for ULBs with less than 30,000 population. So this is the basic change, you can say, when it comes to ODF plus plus. As I mentioned, that there are ULBs which would want to which also have a DRE system when it comes to their fecal sludge. So for this, we have given certain conditions that as to what would be considered as a proper DRE system. So the prime is that the DRE will only be considered for ULBs with a population of less than 20,000, which remains. The DRE site should be at least 500 meters away from the nearest habitation and not be like really far off from the city. They should be 100 meter away from the surface water body. It should be 10 feet above from high water tables, and the land should be properly fenced and be available. And we would also want a declaration from the ULB which tells us about the capacity, coordinates, and the septage generation of the ULB. So kindly ensure that all these, when you are saying that site is there for DRE, because we've seen in the past that there have been like open, you can say, dump sites which have been shown as a DRE, like simply digging a hole and saying that this is a DRE system will not do. It should be a proper system. In case it is not able to meet these parameters, it will not be qualified. Kindly ensure that you take a complete assessment of the DRE systems in your city to ensure that they meet the parameters. Then, as I said, that some ULBs also go for a cluster system when it comes to treatment. So to ensure that there is a checklist which is in place to ensure that they are able to meet the norms. So in case a ULB is able is undergoing a cluster approach when it comes to treatment plants, you need to ensure that the following things are given during the DA assessment. That is basically name of the ULB, MOU with which the parent ULB has. Then distance to the plant to the ULB should be between 25 to 30 kilometers is only permissible. Capacity of the parent ULB plant, logbook which is there at the treatment site, then details regarding the evidences of desludging vehicles and receipts of desludging. While the assessor will be on ground, the assessor will be looking at the MOU agreement, declaration from the ULB, pictures of the logbook, and distance to the plant in the parent ULB. And basically, he will be taking a screenshot of the Google Maps. So excuse me. So kindly ensure that all these details are available with all your plants and they meet these criteria. In case any gap is found in fulfilling these parameters, this will lead to the failure of the ULB in the plant category, both for ODF as well as Water Plus. Kindly ensure that that all these rules are met. ODF++, these are all the parameters that are there. I showed you a snapshot. This is a detailed version of all conditions that the ULB is to meet, ensure that the fecal sludge is managed end to end. And this is just a snapshot once again of the cluster approach and the DRE systems in place. Moving to the Water Plus protocol, Water Plus is the highest, as you know, protocol that we have under the certifications. Currently, we have 64 cities who have been able to achieve this certification once, and they have a lot of cities have been able to, in fact, all the cities have been able to maintain their certification. This is very heartening to see. We would also want to see this year that more and more ULBs come into the Water Plus domain. So when it comes to Water Plus, these are the parameters that we check. First is there should be proper safe discharge of sewage, including septage from your CTPTs. The treatment capacity of your treatment plants should be adequate. It should be operationally efficient. Safe cleaning is to be undertaken of your septic tanks. Your Safai Mitras are to be given PPE kits, and there should be availability of RSA and SRU. There should be sufficiency of your desludging vehicles. Then a very important factor is the reuse of your treatment of your treated water. So whatever used water which is coming out should be treated and recycled and reused. Then all your municipal drains which are receiving silage should be in proper. There should be no petering out. There should be brass screens in place, trash arresters. There should be no waterlogging which is happening. Then your O&M mechanism, there should be some way for recovery of costs, and complaint mechanism should be in place, such as 14420. So because we want the smaller ULBs to also come into the Water Plus domain, which happened last year as well. So point 2, 0.7 and 0.8 will not be applicable for ULBs with less than 30,000 population. So this is the basic change which is there in the Water Plus protocol. This is the protocol in detail. With this, I conclude my presentation. We hope that all our ULBs are able to achieve higher levels of certification. So with this, I conclude my presentation. And in case anybody has questions, we can take them up now. Manish, you can unmute you can unmute, please. Yes, please tell me.
Can you hear me? So
yes,
we can get the PPT also, na, for this.
Yes. By Baji, it will be shared.
And this time we have discontinued the recertification.
No, recertification is there. Reassessment is not there. Recertification is just if in case you have ODF plus, you want to once again you want to go for the same certification, that is allowed. Reassessment. मान लीजिए last time अगर आपकी कोई भी ULB fail हुई थी, तो वो उसका रीअसेसमेंट नहीं होगा, उसका फ्रेश उसको अप्लाई करना पड़ेगा, या तो वो उसी सर्टिफिकेट के लिए जाए या इट गोज फॉर अ हायर सर्टिफिकेट. Reassessment is not there. Recertification still exists.
Hello, in case any ULB is just about to expire the validation, before the date of inspection. So will it be valid or we need to wait till the result will come? In case inspection is on 1st of January and the expiry date is 31st of December. So what will happen in that case?
We would request the ULB to kindly apply on the portal for recertification or for a higher certification. Please don't wait till the last minute. Please do apply. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One
Hello,
more query.
Madam, this is Fani from Telangana, madam.
हाँ
Yeah.
फानी जी बताइए.
Yeah. Madam, last year the cutoff date is August, no, madam. Is there any day cutoff date for the ODF previous certificates validation?
The certificate validation. So we will be coming back to you on the same. So if what I would suggest is that since yes, the application window, as you know, is currently open. So the ULBs which want to go for a higher certification or a recertification, please go ahead. For your query that what will be considered as valid under survection, right? That is what you're asking. So we will be getting back to you on the same.
And one more question, madam.
Yes.
For ODF plus higher certification and recertification, the questions are both are same, madam. For higher
Yes, because
certification.
because if you understand, it's been quite some time since the certification was done. So we have not, our idea is that any ULB which is going for recertification, it has been 1 year, right? It has been one
Yeah,
year. So it can be considered very well as a fresh certification, but we are saying recertification, we will be asking those questions once again. We want to see after 1 year if you are able to maintain those or not. So that is the reason.
Yeah, please confirm me as early as possible, madam, that cutoff date, so we
The
can
cutoff
concentrate
date,
on
we will
the.
come back to you. Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
मैडम हर ईयर में
Good
दो
afternoon, ma'am.
साइकिल है, तो
Sarfraz
ये
from
पहली
Jharkhand.
साइकिल मानी जा सकती है क्या? हेलो
हाँ जी बताइए.
मैम हर ईयर में दो साइकिल है.
अभी तो यही एक साइकिल है, वो 2 वाला was a error in that. अभी तो हमने अभी एक ही विंडो खोला है, इसी में सारे एप्लीकेशंस आएंगे और इसी में सबका असेसमेंट होगा और यही रिजल्ट सर्वेक्षण में जाएंगे.
मैम मैं
Yes.
जीएमसी से बोल रहा हूँ, गुवाहाटी म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन से.
Yes.
मैम हम लोग को जैसे पिछली बार ओडीएफ सर्टिफाइड हुआ था, अगर हम लोग ओडीएफ प्लस और बाई चांस हम लोग फेल होते हैं तो हम लोग को ओडीएफ प्लस मिलेगा या ओडीएफ पे ही हम लोग को दोबारा रिसर्टिफाइड होंगे?
देखिए अगर आप ओडीएफ थे और आप ओडीएफ प्लस प्लस के लिए जाना चाहते हैं, राइट? और अगर आप फेल हो गए तो क्या होगा, आप ये पूछ रहे हैं?
यस मैम.
हाँ, तो अगर आप ओडीएफ प्लस प्लस में फेल होते हैं तो आपका एज ऑन डेट रिजल्ट तो ओडीएफ नॉन ओडीएफ प्लस प्लस ही होगा. अगर मान लीजिए सर्वेक्षण के पर्पसेस से, बिकॉज वी डोंट वांट द यूएलबीज टू लूज आउट ऑन मार्क्स, तो अगर आप मान लीजिए अगर ओडीएफ प्लस में अगर आप क्वालिफाई करते हैं, ठीक है, तो आपको ओडीएफ प्लस के मार्क्स मिलेंगे सर्वेक्षण में, बट एज ऑन डेट यू विल बी नॉन ओडीएफ प्लस प्लस. You will not lose marks in survection is what I'm trying to tell you. You would not have met the criteria for ODF plus plus, but अगर आपका ODF plus अगर आपका आप meet कर जाते हैं तो सर्वेक्षण में आप ODF plus के marks आपको मिल जाएंगे, और या ODF whichever. ये भी हो सकता है शायद आपने ODF plus भी ना क्लियर किया हो, तो अगर आप ODF के लिए क्लियर हैं तो आपको ODF के मार्क्स मिलेंगे.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
मैम एक्चुअली मेरे को कुछ पूछना था.
Hello, madam, there is a query. When we apply for desktop assessment and upload the documents,
Please
at
one
that
by
time,
one, please. Yes. ये अनिरुद्ध
DPM
जी जो बोल रहे थे. एक
Hello.
मिनट सर. हाँ अनिरुद्ध जी बोलिए.
madam, when we apply for desktop assessment and upload the document, if there is a document not proper, then previously what had done that a 72-hour window is given or a red flag is given for that particular point.
Right.
So is this process going on or there is any change?
It is. It's the same only. So in case if you upload a document and let's say the QC team comes back and says, you know, that there is the document is not proper, or there is some, you can say, some discrepancy in the document. So they will send it, they will send you that query and you will be getting that 72 hours window to come back with the. Is that clear? Yeah.
Hello, ma'am.
मैम डीपीएम गाजियाबाद बोला था मैम.
एक मिनट गाजियाबाद को ले लेते हैं. बताइए.
मैम
हाँ बताइए सर. हेलो.
You will be allowed to delete CTPT.
मैम ये पूछना चाहते कि हमारे यहाँ गाजियाबाद में आचार संहिता लगी है इलेक्शन की वजह से, तो इसमें मैम विज्ञप्ति जो निकलती है क्या मैम हमारे जो पुरानी निकली हुई है वो वाली चल जाएंगी ओडीएफ और जीएफसी?
एक बार दोबारा रिपीट करिए अपना क्वेश्चन, मैं सुन नहीं पाई ठीक से।
मैम हमारे यहाँ पुरानी जो विज्ञप्तियां जो निकलती हैं अखबार में, न्यूज़पेपर में जो निकलती हैं
डिक्लेरेशन यू मीन?
डिक्लेरेशन, यस
हाँ
मीन्स,
जी, हाँ।
तो ये मैम हमारी पुरानी चल जाएंगी या हमारे को नई निकलवानी पड़ेंगी?
आप किसके लिए अप्लाई करना चाहते हैं?
मैम ओडीएफ प्लस प्लस के लिए।
सो ODF प्लस प्लस के लिए तो आपके पास पुराना, मतलब आपका गाजियाबाद इज ODF प्लस प्लस, राइट? हेलो।
मैम यूएलबीज मैम, नॉट नगर निगम।
ओके ओके। सो हाँ, अगर आप मान लीजिए रीसर्टिफिकेशन के लिए जा रहे हैं, मतलब आपका एक बार तो आपने डिक्लेयर किया होगा ना
जी
ODF
जी
प्लस प्लस अपने को, हाँ, तो वो चल जाएगा दोबारा।
पुरानी वाली चल जाएंगी मैम।
हाँ, पुरानी वाली। अगर आप फ्रेश के लिए जा रहे हैं, मतलब पहली बार अगर आप मान लीजिए ODF प्लस प्लस के लिए जा रहे हैं, मैं सबके लिए बता रही हूँ, तो पहली बार एक सर्टिफिकेशन के लिए जा रहे हैं, तो तब तो आपको डिक्लेरेशन फ्रेश करवाना पड़ेगा। मगर आप एक बार मान लीजिए यू हैव बीन सर्टिफाइड ODF प्लस प्लस, वाटर प्लस, ODF प्लस, सो यू डोंट हैव टू गेट दोज डिक्लेरेशंस अगेन, द ओल्ड डिक्लेरेशन विल होल्ड।
और मैम एक चीज और ये पूछना था, जैसे मैम मेरे यहाँ कुछ निकाय हैं यूएलबीज हैं जिनके सीमा विस्तार यानी जो एरिया वो बड़ा है, तो उसके लिए हमारे को फ्रेश वो निकालनी पड़ेगी डिक्लेरेशन,
यू मीन न्यू एरियाज हैव बीन
या
एडेड?
न्यू एरिया एड हुआ है मैम?
हाँ, you will have to, अगर because we will be assessing, जब हम declaration मांगते हैं, so we ask all wards and councillors, right? So you will have to get them also. आप उसको उसमें add कर सकते हैं, ताकि कल
अदरवाइज
को कोई क्वेश्चन, हाँ, कल को कोई इशू ना आए। जो न्यू आपके एरियाज हैं वहां से आपको लेना पड़ेगा।
हाँ, अदरवाइज जो पुरानी
मैडम
है
फंडिंग
हमको एज
जो
इट इज पुरानी वाली ले सकते हैं डिक्लेरेशंस?
ले सकते हैं अगर आप एक बार सर्टिफाई उसमें हो
हाँ,
चुके हैं।
रीसर्टिफिकेट के लिए,
हाँ
रीसर्टिफिकेट।
जी, हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
ठीक मैम, ऐसे ही जीएफसी में कर सकते हैं दोनों का एक साथ?
जी, GFC का
मैडम फंडी
राहुल,
मैडम तेलंगाना
मीटिंग चिलो।
हाँ,
ठीक है
बताइए।
मैडम फंडी मैडम तेलंगाना मैडम
हाँ,
we had about 48 ULBs below 50,000 population madam and 25 ULBs below 25,000 population. The sampling size of the toilets are so high madam, for this ODF plus plus every municipality is having
so if you
FSTPs.
see the protocols, Pani ji, there is a disclaimer that is given right at the end, which says that any ULB where we will not be expecting a ULB which has 10 toilets to have 100 toilets, because 100 toilets have been given in the protocol. We would only ask them to cover those many toilets only. It is not that, if you don't have, you can't build those toilets overnight, right?
But you will check in the commercial area and public area madam. The
So
commercial area,
however toilets that the city has reported onto the portal, we will be checking. Okay, but this should not
okay,
mean that,
okay.
there would be toilets on ground and you have deleted those toilets from, in case they have gone under some disuse, you have deleted those toilets on ground and you have not reported onto the portal. So any toilet which is found like that, I said, so any toilet you say which is not in use, you have deleted, but it is found on ground, then it will be inspected. So kindly ensure that you give
Okay.
you properly update, and on ground also this situation should be rectified. All right.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
From Jharkhand.
Ma'am,
Just wanted to know one thing. Why when
बताइए
ULB
सरफराज जी, झारखंड।
जैसे कि लास्ट टाइम जो सर्टिफिकेशन हुआ है ओडीएफ या ओडीएफ प्लस का, वो मतलब वो तो एक्सपायर कर गया, मोस्ट ऑफ देम एक्सपायर कर गया, तो उस केस में हम लोग उसको न्यू फ्रेश में जाएंगे कि रीसर्टिफिकेशन में जाएंगे?
अगर एक्सपायर कर गया है तो आप रीसर्टिफिकेशन कर सकते हैं, या तो आप हायर सर्टिफिकेशन के लिए जा सकते हैं, वो ULB पे डिपेंड करता है।
ठीक है, मतलब हम लोग अगर एक्सपायर कर गया तो रीसर्टिफिकेशन के लिए जाएंगे, ठीक है ना?
वो आपकी
रीसर्टिफिकेशन या
मतलब
हायर
इट
में?
डिपेंड्स। अगर आपको रीसर्टिफिकेशन वही सर्टिफिकेशन दोबारा कराना है तो आप रीसर्टिफिकेशन कराइए, और इफ यू वांट टू गो फॉर अ हायर सर्टिफिकेट, यू गो फॉर अ हायर सर्टिफिकेट। इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी दैट यू हैव टू गो फॉर रीसर्टिफिकेशन। हायर लेवल पे लेके जाइए अपने ULBs को।
हाँ, मतलब जो एक्सपायर किया है उसको हायर में ले जाना है या रीसर्टिफाई कराना है उसको,
रीसर्टिफिकेशन,
मतलब
बिल्कुल।
फ्रेश में ले जाना है?
नहीं,
जो
फ्रेश तो ऊपर वाला सर्टिफिकेशन हुआ ना।
यस
Ma'am, the portal is not
Pooja, can you
working
hear
for
me?
recertification.
Portal is not working, ma'am. Ma'am, you are where
Not
are you?
working.
Where are you? Sikkim. Sikkim. Ma'am, I would request you to send a screenshot of the error that you are facing to your state coordinator, ma'am, state coordinator, and when it will be sent.
Disabled, ma'am. It is not being clicked only.
Is the IT Manish? Are you there? Hello, Manish. Are you there? Anybody from the IT team is there?
Ma'am, we had talked to our coordinator also. He said to inquire in this VC only.
Ma'am, so what is the error that you're facing? The link is disabled, is it?
Ma'am, it is not getting selected only when we were clicking for recertification.
Okay. Ma'am, I would request you to, if once again possible, send the screenshot of the error that you're seeing and the name of the ULB and the ULB code to your state coordinator, and it will be sent to me. Then I will see what is required. Okay, we will inform the IT team. I think the IT team is not able to unmute themselves.
Pooja, we are here.
So Ashish, ma'am is saying that decertification, they are not able to do. Apparently, the portal is not allowing them to apply for recertification. Can you please check?
Yes.
One thing,
ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm from John from Tamil Nadu, ma'am.
Case because
One second.
many of the ULVs have already started. They are not facing any issue. So I think this should be some specific case. We require the ULV name and might be their credential. So can you write this your issue to support@sbmurban.org? I think you have the ID of our support team.
Okay.
Support@sbmurban. You please send a screenshot and your ULB ID. If we require, we will ask you the credentials.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, good afternoon, ma'am. I'm John from Tamil Nadu, ma'am.
Pooja, can you hear me?
Yes, please tell me.
Atul this side. We want to know that by when ULBs can make the changes on the city profile, CTPT data, processing plan data.
The processing plans data, I think Rahul explained. I think we can give
We just want to know the last date, end date by when.
That will be given, Atul. That will be given. 2 points that have been raised here. One is that you want to know till when can you update all these details. That is one. Second is that what is the cutoff date that will be taken for selection, right? So we will come back to you on these 2 points. Yeah, John. Somebody from Tamil Nadu wanted a question.
Yeah, ma'am. So the details of the schools uploaded on the portal will be considered for inspection, or it will be random?
School inspection, whichever schools are there, it will be random only. It will be random, but ensure that those details are uploaded onto the portal. Okay. Yeah, Tamil Nadu had a question.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, ma'am,
CTPT
Madam, one second, please. Please, Tamil Nadu, yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, in the portal, either ODF of GFC, if they apply for ODF plus instead of ODF, if they selected for ODF in the portal, they can't apply for ODF plus, ma'am. It got stuck and it's not opening for ODF plus. The portal is
you mean that they applied by mistake?
Yeah.
Let's say they applied by mistake. So IT to please confirm, as far as I know, that in case a ULB has applied for, let's say they click on ODF by mistake and it moves ahead, it doesn't let you go back to the if you want to go for ODF plus, right?
Yeah.
Right. So until and unless the application is submitted, okay, it will not go for, it will not come to us. So one solution could be that you start a fresh, you can start once again another application. It is not possible. You're not able to do it.
Yeah, ma'am. It's not possible, ma'am. It's not showing for new certificate or recertificate. The option is locked, ma'am.
IT, can you please answer? Manish, Ashish.
Yeah, sure.
Please provide the PDF.
Yeah, we will be sending the PPT, both the PPTs onto the group, so it will be given to you. Any other question in terms of the protocols? Because as sir had mentioned,
ma'am, my question was,
मैम गाजियाबाद में मैम कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगी है तो मैम उसमें वो निकाल सकते हैं।
हेलो
मैम गाजियाबाद में कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगा हुआ है तो उसमें हम डिक्लेरेशन निकाल सकते हैं न्यूज़पेपर में।
Okay, this is an exception, right? So can I come back to you on this? I'll have to seek clarification.
Ma'am, John, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hear me?
I have another one question, ma'am. For C&D plant,
Please,
Tamil Nadu don't have any C&D plants, ma'am. We have a segregation and collection point, ma'am. Is that okay for GFC, ma'am?
we'll have to check on that, John. Rahul is not there on the call right now, but what I can request all the states is that if you have queries regarding ODF and GFC in terms of the protocols, can you please share it with your state coordinators so they can forward it to us so that we can take it up into an alert and issue, let's say, like a Q&A for everyone. That will be really helpful for us. Instead of, there are multiple questions which are coming. So is it possible today, let's say by end of day, please see the protocols, anything that you want, any issue that you face, if you can send to your state coordinators that these are the queries that need to be answered, we can come up with a Q&A for the same. This will ease the process. And regarding the IT portal issues, as Vanessa said, that we will be holding a separate session so that you can see one by one how it is to be, because the flow is pretty much the same. There isn't any, any drastic change in how you apply for the certification. But in case if you're facing any challenges, we would be holding dedicated IT sessions for the same. So kindly wait for that. But in the meanwhile, it is humbly requested to please send your queries to your state coordinators so that we can take it up and we can issue an alert on the same. I hope that resolves. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you.
मैडम एक क्वेरी है मैडम झारखंड से।
हाँ जी बताइए।
अगर कोई मतलब यूएलबी अगर हायर सर्टिफिकेशन के लिए जा रहा है तो अभी जैसे झारखंड में कोड ऑफ कंडक्ट लगा हुआ है तो हम लोग नोटिफिकेशन नहीं निकाल सकते हैं।
वो अभी दोबारा गाजियाबाद से भी क्वेरी आई थी सरफराज जी, तो वो आप अपना जो मैंने बताया अपने स्टेट कोऑर्डिनेटर को वो क्वेरी लिख के भेजिए ताकि हम मिनिस्ट्री से उसका क्या समाधान हो सकता है, वी कैन कम अप विद दैट।
ओके
मैम।
हेलो मैम।
झारखंड से हेलो एक क्वेरी था मैम।
हाँ जी
झारखंड से बोल रहा हूँ मैम। क्वेरी था इसमें वार्ड मेंबर डिक्लेरेशन।
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है। Participants who are not speaking, kindly mute your mic.
My question was, in previous year, once the ODF assessment was completed,
Hello.
हेलो।
हाँ जी
पूजा मैम आवाज आ रही है?
आवाज आ रही है, बताइए।
ओके यू आर ऑडिबल।
मैडम जीएफसी का जो अपन असेसमेंट चेक कर रहे हैं एलिजिबिलिटी, वो शो नहीं हो रही है मैम।
ये महाराष्ट्र से बोल रहे हैं राइट?
महाराष्ट्र अमरावती से बात कर रहा हूँ मैडम।
आप प्लीज इसका जैसे मैंने बोला स्क्रीनशॉट कुछ क्या एरर आ रहा है यूएलबी का कोड और हमें भेज देंगे तो हमको यूजफुल होगा। आई थिंक मनीष इफ यू आर देयर, आशीष, वी कैन टेक अप दी क्वेरीज। एक मिनट सर, एक मिनट प्लीज। जो भी आपकी क्वेरीज पोर्टल रिगार्डेड आ रही हैं तो हम एक सेशन रखने वाले हैं। तो
हाय पूजा जी, पोर्टल में अभी हम लोग एक रिस्टार्ट करने वाले हैं, तो आई थिंक अभी कुछ टाइम 15-20 मिनट का डाउन टाइम रहेगा। उसके बाद और
ओके। हेलो मैम। मैम
से रिलेटेड अगर कोई इशू है तो आपका अभी मतलब
देखिए, yeah, what my team is telling me, the IT team is telling me that they are doing some processes onto the portal, because of which the portal is down for a little while. Once it is up and running, you will be able, probably you will not face all these issues that you are reporting right now. So kindly wait for that for a little while. Yeah.
Ma'am, in previous
ULB is facing for application of GFC.
Ma'am, that is what is being told by the IT team, that they are doing some deployment onto the portal. So it is down for a little while. So kindly retry, let's say after an hour or so, it will be up and running. Is that?
We haven't seen previous evidences.
Previous evidences for what, ma'am?
Documentation.
In ODF?
Yeah.
You want to see the previous evidences. This will not be there, ma'am, but wouldn't you have a repository of all the evidences that you submitted last year? आपके पास कहीं तो होगा.
Yes, we have.
So then I think
मैम मेरा सवाल ये था कि जब असेसमेंट होता था ओडीएफ का, तो असेसमेंट के बाद 1 या 2 महीने में यूएलबी को रिजल्ट मिलता था। अगर यूएलबी उस रिजल्ट से अनहैप्पी थी तो यूएलबी ऑब्जेक्शन ले सकती थी। तो ये अभी भी होगा या फिर जो ओडीएफ का रिजल्ट जो निकलेगा वो डायरेक्टली एसएस के साथ ही निकलेगा, ये मुझे पूछना था।
मैम लास्ट टाइम हमने डायरेक्ट एसएस के साथ निकाला था, इस बार क्या प्रोसीजर होगा ये मैं नोट कर लेती हूँ कि ये पॉइंट जो हम क्यूएनए बता रहे हैं ना, तो उसी में हम लिख देंगे। This is a valid point. We will get back to you. Will we be giving a chance or it will be direct?
क्योंकि मैम बहुत बार असेसमेंट के वक्त एसएसर गलतियां
I understand, ma'am. I understand. आप कहाँ से ये बोल रहे हैं मुझे समझ में आ रहा है, बट आप ये आपका पॉइंट नोटेड है, हम आपको इसका आंसर देंगे।
मैम दिस इज CTPT के रिगार्डिंग मेरा क्वेश्चन था, इज यू विल बी अलाउड टू डिलीट CTPT फ्रॉम स्वच्छता पोर्टल और
Why do you want to delete, sir?
मैम आवाज आ रहा है क्या? दूल्हे म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन से बात।
हाँ जी बताइए।
मैम और
नहीं, आप डिलीट क्यों करना चाहते हैं?
IHHL target is completed and there are no need to community toilet. That's why.
अच्छा, community toilet. हाँ, so if you don't have, but you will have to send that to us in writing saying that, you know, there is saturation of IHHL and there is no CTPT, sorry, there is no CT which is required. So if you have that documentation with you, it will not be a problem. But you need to send it to us with a proper request to your mission directorate. You are speaking from Dhule, right? तो आप महाराष्ट्र जो state directorate है उसको भेजिए कि ऐसे हमारा ये हमको डिलीशन का रिक्वेस्ट है because there has been 100% saturation. Okay?
मैं देवास मध्य प्रदेश से बात कर रहा था।
मैडम अमरावती महाराष्ट्र से बात कर रहा हूँ।
हाँ जी बताइए सर।
मैडम आपने जो बताया था अभी कि नया प्रपोज किया है IHHL असेस होगा इस बार, तो इसमें SBM 1.0 में जो सैंक्शन IHHL थे वो असेस होंगे या SBM 2.0 में कुछ जो सैंक्शन हुए हैं वो असेस होंगे?
2.0 को आपने कंस्ट्रक्शन कंप्लीट कर लिया है क्या सर? नहीं ना?
यस मैम।
2 वाला आपने कंस्ट्रक्शन कब कर लिया है क्या? आई हाईली डाउटेड।
नहीं करा नहीं है।
हाँ, तो आपके अभी जो एग्जिस्टिंग IHHLs हैं जो अंडर कंस्ट्रक्शन उसको नहीं देख रहे हैं, ठीक है? एग्जिस्टिंग IHHL का सैनिटेशन सिस्टम क्या है वो हम देख रहे हैं।
ओके।
मैडम देवास से बात कर रहा हूँ।
ये हमारे 126 CTPT है पोर्टल पर। हेलो।
हेलो।
हेलो, हाँ जी।
मैडम देवास से बात कर रहा था।
हाँ जी बताइए।
मैम हमारा जो जियो मैपिंग वाला डाटा है वो GFC वाला नहीं हो पा रहा है मैम। जबकि जियो मैपिंग कंप्लीट है सभी वार्डों की और जितनी भी फैसिलिटी है उन सभी की जियो मैपिंग कंप्लीट है मैम, लेकिन वो डाटा प्रॉपर कैश नहीं हो पा रहा है।
IT, can you please answer this question? Hello.
USB है ना एडवांस ऑडियो डिवाइस। तो मैम दूल्हे से बात कर रहा हूँ, आवाज आ रहा है क्या?
एक मिनट, अभी देवास से क्वेरी आई थी। हाँ बताइए।
सबका क्या इशू आप फेस कर रहे हैं वाइल्ड मैपिंग?
सर इसमें जो जियो मैपिंग है सर वो हमारी कंप्लीट है। पोर्टल पे जो GIS पोर्टल है उस पर भी सारी एंट्री शो हो रही है, लेकिन GFC पोर्टल पर जो हम उसकी एलिजिबिलिटी क्राइटेरिया चेक कर रहे हैं तो सर उसमें फाइल दिखा रहा है, उसमें डाटा शो नहीं हो रहा है सर जियो मैपिंग वाला।
ठीक है हम चेक कर लेते हैं देवास के लिए। Will it be possible for you to send a mail on support?
हाँ सर वो मेल मॉर्निंग में सर हमने भेज दिया है और इसकी जो भी भेजती हैं सर सपोर्ट पर मेल कर दिया है और
सेम प्रॉब्लम फेस हो रहा है कुरुंदवाड़ नगर परिषद महाराष्ट्र में। मैंने मेल भी किया है लेकिन कोई रिप्लाई नहीं आया और सपोर्ट में क्वेरी भी डाली थी GFC के
रिगार्डिंग। किस चीज के लिए सर? हरिद्वार से बात कर रहे हैं? नहीं,
जो GIS मैपिंग का है ना प्रोसेसिंग
अभी क्वेरी का
उसके
रिस्पॉन्स आ
रिगार्डिंग
जाएगा आपको। एक बार आप अपना दोबारा ULB के
दीजिएगा।
IT, can you please drop a message on the group? जो आपका email ID है सपोर्ट के लिए, प्लीज एक बार चैट में लिख देंगे so that everybody gets it.
ऑलरेडी कर दिया है मैडम।
नहीं नहीं, मैं आईटी को बोल रही हूँ। मनीष, इफ यू कैन पुट अ मैसेज ऑन द ग्रुप, चैट में डाल दीजिए कि
support@sdm-urban.org यही ईमेल आईडी रहेगी।
चैट पे डाल दीजिए प्लीज।
चैट अभी ब्लॉक है इसका, होस्ट पे इनेबल करते हैं।
मैम धुले का 126 पीटी पोर्टल पर अपलोड है, तो हमने रेट्रो फिटिंग के लिए स्टेट ऑफिस को प्रपोजल सेंड किया है मैम। हेलो हेलो
हेलो, हाँ जी, हेलो।
नहीं जा रहा है यार, तो हो रहा है पर आवाज नहीं आ रहा।
हेलो
हेलो मैम।
हेलो, यस बताइए।
About recertification, like those who have validity.
हेलो
One second, Manipur ma'am, please बताइए। Yeah, please go ahead.
Some cities they have validity till November. So like, do we need to apply for recertification?
It has validity till November.
Yes.
Which city? This is Manipur, right?
Yes. ODF plus.
That cutoff date that we were talking about, we'll come back to you on the same. But you don't want your ULBs to go for any higher certification?
No, they are not planning to get any higher certification.
Okay. This cutoff date, we will come back to you, ma'am, if you want to apply or not. I've already said that in the meeting, so kindly wait for it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we will have
Hello,
to close this meeting now. Any other queries that we
मैम
have, we will be taking up
मैम
in
यूपी
the
टीम से
subsequent
सत्यम बात कर रहा
sessions.
हूँ।
हाँ जी, बताइए।
मैम क्वेश्चन ये था कि यहाँ पे बहुत सारी सिटीज स्वच्छता ऐप का यूज नहीं कर रही हैं और स्टेट में एक ई सेवा का पोर्टल है, उस पोर्टल को बहुत सारी यूएलबीज यूज कर रही हैं। तो क्या स्वच्छता ऐप को लोकल ऐप से या फिर ई नगर सेवा पोर्टल से इंटीग्रेट करना जरूरी है मैम?
Manish, can you please answer this question? People who are not speaking, please mute your mic.
अभी ऑलरेडी स्टेट का और डिस्कशन हो रहा है, तो अभी हम उस पे ये क्वेरी का ना उसमें आंसर कर देंगे। ये कौन से स्टेट से आप बोल रहे हैं? आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही।
Do we get informed when the ODF team will arrive?
As last year, when the inspections will be done, there will be an email that will be sent by the inspection agency informing you about the schedule of the assessments. So that notification will come to you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Hello.
Thank you.
आपको आवाज आ रही है? This is Khushbu from Gujarat. We have the same question regarding the grievance redressal for GFC. So अगर राहुल जी से बात हो जाए तो it will be better for us because we
I think IT is already अभी उन्होंने बोला था, खुशबू जी उन्होंने रिप्लाई किया था इसके बारे में। इमरान जी, you were saying, Imran ji, can you please once again, Imran ji और I think Nitin, या प्लीज एक बार वो क्लैरिफाई करें कि ये ग्रीवेंस रिड्रेसल का पूछ रहे हैं, इंटीग्रेशन की बात कर रहे हैं ना खुशबू जी?
जी
हाँ, इमरान जी, कैन यू प्लीज clarify?
We are confused regarding that which app will be counted, Swachhta app or that they have their own CT app. So that's why we are confused right now.
इमरान जी, नितिन जी, कैन यू प्लीज आंसर? एक और बार रिपीट कर दीजिए जो आपने बोला था रिगार्डिंग द स्वच्छता ऐप।
वो आवाज नहीं आ रही थी उस टाइम पे हमें, इसलिए हमने रिपीट किया।
हेलो, स्वच्छता ऐप से रिलेटेड क्वेरी ना आपको अभी पूजा जी अभी चल रहा है, मालूम होगा स्टेट से इंटरेक्शन उसी में हम कर लेंगे इसका बस। यहाँ पर अगर कोई ऐसा है तो आप support@sdm-urban.org पर एक मेल कर दीजिए, हम रिस्पॉन्स कर देंगे।
खुशबू जी, मैंने जैसे बोला, आप अपने स्टेट कोऑर्डिनेटर को प्लीज जब भेजेंगे ये क्वेरी भेजिएगा कि इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ द स्वच्छता ऐप इनटू योर लोकल, जो आपका लोकल ऐप चल रहा है वो काउंट होगा कि नहीं, ये क्वेश्चन आप प्लीज लिख के भेजिएगा, ठीक है?
जी ठीक है।
और ये क्वेश्चन हमें डिस्कशन भी करना पड़ेगा तभी हम
जी। तो आप अपनी सारी क्वेरीज प्लीज लिख के भेजिए।
हमारी 2 बजे ऑलरेडी है वीसी regarding this Swachhta app.
ठीक है, तो you it will be clarified during that meeting, right? So I know that there are a lot of queries which are coming regarding to the application and for the protocols. As we said, to take up all your queries, please send it to your state coordinator today by end of day so that we can give a reply to all. Okay. So with this, I would want to conclude this meeting, and we will be having subsequent sessions.
Ma'am, last concern है
One
ma'am.
question.
Ma'am, last concern है ma'am regarding GFC component 13 में मैम जैसे वेस्ट टू वेल्थ के रिगार्डिंग बात हो रही है तो मैम लेवल 4 में इट हैज बीन मेंशन कि 4 इनिशिएटिव लेड फॉर पैरामीटर 1 तो मैम ये इनिशिएटिव्स हैं या लोकेशन वाइज हैं या फिर वी नीड टू शोकेस 3 इनिशिएटिव्स
It is written as initiatives, right?
मैम इनिशिएटिव लोकेशंस को बोला गया है या फिर वी नीड टू शो सम प्रोडक्ट्स काइंड ऑफ ऐसा कुछ
So initiatives you will have to show.